Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, brought to you by gamblersworld.net, where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers in the country, including us three, myself, Ross Benjamin, Jesse Schule, and Sean Higgs, and 8 other great handicappers as well. And it's there where we guarantee our selections, folks. If you don't win, you don't make a profit, we'll credit back your account the exact amount of what you spent on that particular package or daily pick, whatever you prefer. And right now, great special going on is we have our 3-day pass, and you can get an extra day free. So if you purchase a 3-day pass from any one of us, the 4th day will be free, $99 that package is, and that's guaranteed as well. So not only are you getting the 4th day free, but you're getting our personal guarantee. If you don't win, you don't make a profit, we will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. All right. Without further ado, and also, folks, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Just click on that subscribe button or the WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen if you're watching on your PC. And while you're at it, go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. You'll be notified immediately upon any of our future 5 podcasts per week going up on our great channel. Jesse, how are you, man? You don't celebrate July 4th, and you're not in Canada anymore, so you don't celebrate July 1st, Canada Day. So
I celebrate every day, Ross. Every day is a celebration over here in Thailand. Despite the fact that the results have not been great, you ask me how I'm doing. This is where we're supposed to brag about how we're, all the winning we're doing. And, you can only say that if it's true. And it hasn't been true for me the past week or two. So it is what it is. I still got a smile on my face, still confident. I did win yesterday, and I think there'll be more days like that to come.
Good enough, buddy. Yeah, we tend to how could I put it? Some people just get in a terrible mood when they're losing. And the bottom line is you got to pick up the pieces when you're a pro like us and wake up the next day and be willing. Look, we're never happy when we lose, but you have to have the ability to wipe the slate clean and not let that carry over to the next day, because it clouds your thinking when you do so. Speaking of fireworks, how are you, Mr. Higgs?
All 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Didn't lose anything. We're good. Didn't go crazy.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. No, I didn't light any fireworks. I used to, when I was younger, I used to like the fireworks. And when the kids are smaller, we'd go down to the beach and fire them off. But now my son's like, I'm going out with my friends. My daughter's like, I'm swimming on my friend's house. So,
yeah, you can't take that for granted. Who's the defensive lineman who used to be with the
JPP?
Yeah. Blew a couple of his fingers off.
He turned into Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. Lose his hand to the alligator. The alligator got his hand. That's, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Jesse knows.
Yeah, well,
I know.
I'm not as intelligent as you two guys. So when you come to Star Wars and Star Trek, you're just
stop. You ruined that to Star Trek.
You're just a wealth of information, Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'm useless information. I told you I used to read encyclopedias to go to sleep when I was a kid. I did. I got dinosaurs, whatever. Anyway,
my brother Sammy, my mother bought him a dictionary. He used to spend nights up reading a dictionary, and now he's a Supreme Court judge here in New York State. And his vocabulary is like, don't even talk to me. I don't understand half the words you're using. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't have a vocabulary. Pretty simple, but useless information. Jeopardy champion. You mentioned us like not worrying about like a loss, and I like to say like you look at your bets and your tickets like a car, right? The windshield and the rearview mirror, right? Okay, yeah, you lost yesterday. We move on. I mean, I'm 13-12, 13-12 the last week. I'm up a little bit, but it is what it is. You just grind away. We hit walls too.
Yeah,
and as you said, you got to put upon you. I see these cats on Twitter. I mean, I'm sure Jesse sees just ranting and raving about. Oh my God! How can you consider yourself? You're going to have a heart attack in 3 months if you're going to go off the rails every time something goes bad for you. You know,
and then
especially
there's
when you're playing
there's the guys that are always talking about how much they're winning, even when they're not. They try to spin it. Well, I'm doing this and doing that, even when they're not really producing. And my philosophy is, if you're honest with everybody, when you're not doing well, it'll mean more when you are doing well. So everybody can feel really good about it when I come on here and say I'm kicking butt. I'm telling the truth because I'm honest with you when I'm not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm 100% transparent with all of you out there, with these guys here, with the ownership here. I'm not 100% transparent with my wife because if I was, I'd be in the doghouse 90% of the time. So, in any event, I'm a modest 15-11 since June 21st. All in baseball. I don't do anything else right now. Not great. I mean, look, it's still making a profit. I'd like to do a lot better, but again, I tell you like it is, folks. We all tell you like it is, and we move on to the next day off a 1-2 day yesterday. Not happy about that. The day before, I had a 5-unit top play on the Houston Astros, who crushed the Blue Jays 9-2. I think, Jesse, you had that play as well. So, in any event, today, it's all about today, guys.
One last thing there, Ross. You're talking about, like, you're on a little 500 run the last week plus with your baseball. Me also, like a couple games over. We call it the dog days of summer, basically because it gets hot and the players, whatever. But even for us, I think as the season goes on, I think you have to kind of adjust how you look at things because it goes from it's early in the season. Let's do some unders. Let's do some of these kind of props because of how the season goes. And then the calendar flips. Here comes the warm air. Then the balls start flying, this and that. So I think even being a quote-unquote pro kind of guy, there's that period of adjustment where is it just a blip and it's just a losing day? Or is this kind of I have to readjust the numbers as the season, as we're getting into July and, soon to be August? Like, I find that for me, like, especially as like a dog kind of guy, it's like, all right, here comes the separation. Here comes the cream to the top and the lead is falling to the bottom of the ocean. So
it's a perilous time to handicap Major League Baseball. Right before the All-Star break, just coming out of the All-Star break, my recommendation is to get your volume. Get your volume a little bit lower. Weather the storm, and that's why, like I said, I wake up today with a smile on my face. I haven't been doing that well lately, but I'm not putting out high volume, so I'm not burying myself. Come August 1st, I expect to be dialed in again and producing big numbers.
I had 2 games yesterday. I went 1-1 in my 2 games. I had the Nats and I had the under Seattle turned into a blowout there. But you have to, because it's like, here we go. You got trades happening. All right, we got a break coming up. Let's injure list the guy or make him. He's a day-to-day now, so you get a little extra rest going for the stretch run. It's real, folks. You got to watch. I mean, again, I'm a guy who don't mind firing 7 baseball games. I had 2 on the 4th of July. 2.
Yeah. So, for me, I mean, 15-11 since June 21st. That amounts to 14 days. That's less than 2 picks a day. So, to Jesse's point, I'm not a big volume guy to start with, but, until I feel like every year I get stronger in Major League Baseball as the season goes on. Number one, as the season goes on, and for the period of time between late June and August, it's pretty much the sole focus for me because I don't do the WNBA or any other PGA or anything else going on, soccer. I don't do any of those other sports, so I think I could draw some conclusions with that. But I don't know about you guys. I mean, we're all talking about mediocrity right now and recently, but mediocrity to me is you don't make any huge adjustments. You know what I'm saying? It's when you're 6-15 over your last 21 and 13 of your 15 losses are by 2 runs or more, then you start really having to look at what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, because that's beyond bad luck. It's beyond a bad run. There's something that you're doing within your handicapping process that needs to be tweaked at least a little bit. So again, it's called not overreacting. And I think we've talked time and time again throughout the course of these shows over the last couple of years, the biggest downfall for a normal sports bettor who doesn't do it on a professional basis daily like us is they overreact. They chase when they're losing. They double up when they're winning. And you have to stay disciplined, as hard as that is, folks. It's really a key ingredient to being a successful sports bettor over the long haul, and especially if you're doing it on a regular basis. All right, let's get to the games we're going to discuss.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
I was going to say, mediocrity in baseball, you can be 13-12 and be up $120 because it's not football where you're going to come back and take dogs and all of a sudden the spreads are killing you. You get plus money, run lines, even totals you get plus 105 sometimes. So but like you said, it's a difference between we say mediocre, like you want to be doing better. Like we're grinding along, and it's a 500 run, but you could be up a huge chunk at 500. You could be up a little. You could be down just a little. You know, it's not the proverbial, like you said, usual kind of mediocre. At least for me, because people think mediocrity. I'm like a 50% kind of guy, but I'm a plus money because I'm at average odds of plus 105. So. Yeah.
15 and 11, I'm up $800 by our grading system over at Gamblers World.
That's 4 games over. In football, that would be like a 325 or something. But in baseball, there you go. Yeah,
it'd be less than 300 actually, Sean, if you base it on minus
110. Yeah. But I mean, now it's there to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's that 125, you throw that -3, and you're like, I'm but again, it's by our grading system. So really wouldn't be under 300. It would be whatever, you graded the plays at. Yeah. So again, our grading system at Gamblers World, we get 6 5-unit plays per month. We get 2 10-unit plays per month. I can't tell you the last time I used a 10-unit play, and the rest of them fall between 2 to 4 units, and we base it on $100 bet per unit. And it's when it comes to money line betting, that's if you bet a money line favorite, it's to win $100. If you bet a money line dog, it's risking $100. That's how our system works. So just so you know, when you look at the figures and you say, how are you up $800 and you're 15 and 11? How was Sean up $700 and he's 24 and 24? Well, that's the reason why, so money line betting is much different than laying the 110 juice on average in football or basketball. All right, let's get her going, man. With Jesse, you got something to say?
No, I was just coughing.
I saw you moving your hand like this. I wasn't sure if
No, I'm good.
I mean, that gesture can mean a lot of things. So anyway,
I could be ordering another coffee.
Yeah. Or I don't want to go into detail there. Let's start with Jesse here. And since you haven't said anything in quite a while. The Philadelphia Phillies go to Atlanta tonight to take on the Braves. The Phillies shorthanded right now. 3 key players in their lineup are out with injury. Initially 2-1 since they lost those players. And a lot of times, Jesse and Sean, I've said this on numerous occasions, teams step up when they lose key personnel early. It's sustaining that success is the difficult thing to do. And Nola is on the mound tonight. Aaron Nola, that is, for the Phillies. And Max Fried, the left-hander for the Atlanta Braves. Right now, the Braves are minus 140 and the total 7.5. So the books have definitely accounted for Philly being shorthanded tonight. What's your take here, Jesse?
Yeah, my first look was thinking, we could see an under here, pretty decent pitching matchup. Of course, the books have accounted for that too. A total of 7.5 in Atlanta is a pretty low number. But I'm going to look at the side. The Braves just 3-3 in their last 6. Certainly, the injury to Acuna and a couple other guys banged up has hurt them as well as Philly. And Philly, they've won 8 of their last 12, despite Harper, Realmuto, and Schwarber being out of the lineup. But they're facing Max Fried, who is 7-3 with a 2.93 ERA, a 1.09 WHIP, And if you look at Fried's splits, really consistent across the board, whether it's home, away, recent last 5 starts, or longer term splits. And he's got good numbers against the Phillies. So, looking good for Atlanta in that respect. And then you got Nola. He's 2-2 with a 4.45 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's got pretty decent career numbers against Atlanta, but he's faced them so many times. I think the Braves have 338 combined at-bats against Nola. And if you look at his last 16 starts dating back to 2020, 5-6 with a 4.33 ERA. The Braves do have the advantage when it comes to bullpens. They've got the number 2 bullpen in Major League Baseball with a team ERA of 3.04 by relief pitcher. You got Philly coming off that big loss at Chicago yesterday. I will take the Braves as a short favorite at home, despite the injuries for both teams.
Yeah, short favorite by your account.
That's a short favorite for me.
Yeah, that's about a stretch for me and Sean. So Jesse likes.
If you look at the board though, Ross, you can find at least a half a dozen games with much higher numbers than that.
Oh, always. I'm teasing you, brother. Look, at minus 140 is reasonable, okay, but saying it's a short number, yeah, relative to the other 6 games you just mentioned, but in any event, Sean,
where is it? I'm going to say run line plus 155.
There you go.
I'm like 145. No way. Got the run line in this matchup.
So Mr. Schule likes the Braves minus 140. And Sean, what's your take on this one here?
Aaron Nola, I was not expecting a big year from him. I thought they traded him last year. They went on a run this year. He's only 31. He feels like he's been around a lot longer. He hasn't been terrible. I like the under though. I know it's 7.5, but you got 3 key guys out. And Fried, believe it or not, he's actually got kind of worse numbers at home split wise than he does on the road. But I would still lean under. I know he got knocked out in a 2/3 of the inning back in March or April, like in the second start for these guys. So he's given up his first 2 starts. He gave up 10 runs, and like the next 14, he's given up like 22. So he's obviously found his groove a little bit there. And actually, 2 of those other 14 were the games he gave up 3 and 4 runs to really jack it up. Otherwise, he's been at ones. The way the Braves hit or lack of hitting, 51 and 30 the under. I'm going to say under. We're missing Harper, Schwarber, and Real Muto. And Real Muto's been so-so, but I still got to look under because the Braves. I can't wait on the Braves to hit. Looking at a run line plus 155, I got to just say under because Free's going to shut down what's left of Philly. They're just in a bad spot. Like as I said, the 145 is not bad, right? Because they're coming off a game. They got a wild one there in Chicago. I agree with Jesse on the 145. I could extend my limits to agree with that one. I also like the under.
Yeah, it's 140 consensus line.
140 now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple 145s out there.
Well, we don't want that if we're taking a favorite. So.
No, 140. So that brings me to this. Jesse's game is, or your game, Sean, excuse me, is the Brewers and the Dodgers. And in Jesse's mind, the Dodgers, since the Braves are a reasonably sized minus 140 or short favorite in Jesse's eyes, I'm sure that this is a reasonable favorite for Jesse because the
medium favorite for the Dodgers tonight.
The Dodgers are minus 190, and the total in this game is 8. And the Dodgers are laying a 1.5 on the run line at plus 115. And something tells me Sean's going to use that, but we'll see what he has to say. Nothing surprises me. Aaron Savelli gets his first start for the Brewers since coming over in that trade Wednesday with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep.
And he's going to be facing a very good right-hander in Tyler Glass now for the Dodgers. The Dodgers got pretty much whipped the last 2 games at home against Arizona. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, so like no way the Dodgers could lose again, right? That can't happen. And you think anybody else pitching? I thought this was going to be Peralta game.
Yes,
I would have been. I had Peralta penciled in here, which, for all intents and purposes, I thought would be here, and I would have been like, you know what, give me Milwaukee in this spot, right? Because, hey, it's the Dodgers, and they're just automatically juiced up as a fave, and now they've lost 2 in a row, so they're faved up more. I had to go run line, though, because Savali's been terrible. I liked him when he first came up from Tampa, from Cleveland. This year, not so much. Okay, he's playing at Chavez Ravine here. It's maybe more of a pitcher's park. He's been terrible on the road. What's there to say? The guy, I mean, a 6 ERA, a 294 batting average against. And how many times I've said I don't love the Dodger lineup, and now you're missing a top guy in Betts, and it's run line for me here at 115. I mean, Glasnow's numbers are okay. The whips and batting average against, fine. I mean, 173, 196 batting average against here, not bad. His home and road splits. Brew Crew somehow is still a good hitting team. I don't understand it. Yelich, I think, is a flash in a pan PED guy when he won his MVP. But him and Contreras, Adame, they just put up Ribby when they have to. It's crazy. Terang is their leadoff guy. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. But the pitching, they got a problem here. This team went from Woodruff and Burns and a great Peralta to high. Let's trade for Aaron Savelli, who's on his third team in 3 years. Yeah. I'll go run line. It's a squarish play here. I just Dodgers, I think, are still, as much as I don't like them, they're still too good to lose to Aaron Savelli. So plus 115, I'll take the Dodgers here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other way you can go with this. I mean, I was looking at the total. If Peralta was a starter, I would have really leaned toward the under there.
Yeah,
because I like Peralta. But
yeah,
you mentioned Savelli's road numbers this year: 6.10 ERA, 159 WHIP, which you alluded to, and also an alarming 16 home runs allowed in 87 innings pitched. So that's not very good numbers when it comes to home runs to innings pitched ratio, and especially, Jesse, when you're facing a power-laden team like the LA Dodgers. So what do you got here, Jesse?
I think you guys have to explain this to me, because I can't wrap my head around why a team like Milwaukee, who's sitting in first place, going to make a playoff run, is picking up Aaron Savelli. I mean, what are they going to do with him? Is it hope in one hand and poop in the other, Sean? That they're just hoping that he flips the switch and turns thing around? I mean, he's never been good, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what, though? These guys rolled out Dallas Keuchel the other day as a starting pitcher. So, you know me, I always say, I want a bunch of pitchers. I want 7 pitchers by September starting. I worry about that because the Dodgers here, Glasnow is 30 years old, right? And as people are like, oh, he's really good. He's 30. And last year, believe it or not, was the most innings he's ever pitched was last year. You know how many innings he pitched last year? 120. Career high. You know what he's got this year already? 103. I thought he's going to be a guy.
Wait a second.
Go ahead.
Wait a second. He's been injury prone.
Exactly.
So a lot of that innings pitched per year is a little bit deceiving because he has not been fully healthy for an entire season. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say, but again, like I talk about our guy Louis Hill or Lugo or Sanchez and Suarez, it's going to come back to bite this guy eventually. This is why I talked about the Dodgers beginning here. You got this guy who's injury prone. You got Buehler coming back off of an injury. You got Kershaw, who's as old as me and Jesse. You got the guy they imported. He's on the injured. Dodgers have some question marks there, folks. I'm just saying, keep an eye on
Glasnow. Sean, are you familiar with Peaky Blinders?
What's that, on AMC, that show? About the British people?
Have you not seen the memes with Tyler Glasnow and Peaky Blinders?
No, I've never seen them. I wouldn't even know what
you got to check it after the show. Tyler Glasnow is a doppelganger for the actor, the star in Peaky Blinders.
All right, I got to see that. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, Milwaukee.
Ross is not pleased with that.
No, Milwaukee's 6-11, the last 17, and Pee Wee Blinders, or whoever his name is, has 17 starts this year with a 3.23 ERA, and even more impressive 0.93 WHIP, 136 strikeouts and 103 innings pitched. So he's definitely a power pitcher. And the Milwaukee Braves, I mean, again,
the Milwaukee Braves.
I'm going back to 1964.
I got you, Chip. That's what you're going to talk about. He's talking about British TV shows. You're thinking about
I'm thinking
Sean Connery
being Braves with Hank Aaron and Tony Cloninger and who am I missing? Rico Cardi. Anyway, the Milwaukee Braves are 6-11 last 17 on the road, and I agree with Sean and Jesse. This is a team, to me, I'm going to look to fade in the second half as much as I could. And again, taking it on a game-by-game basis. But I believe we've touched upon repeatedly that we think the Milwaukee Braves are a bit of an overachiever thus far. And yeah, when you pick up a guy like Aaron Savelli in a trade, are you supposed to get excited? I know that the starting pitching staff is a little thin, but like Sean said, you let Corbin Burns go. Your other guy's hurt. And you pick up a guy in Savelli who's nothing better than a fourth or fifth starter on any quality team in the league right now. So I can't get excited about the Milwaukee Braves. So in any event, Sean likes the LA Dodgers -1.5. And yes, I know they're the Brewers, folks, before you lambaste me. In any event, Sean likes the LA Dodgers -1.5 plus 115. And Jesse, he likes the short favorite Philadelphia Phillies -140 over the Atlanta Braves.
Braves at home. Braves at home.
Sorry, the Atlanta Braves at home.
The real Braves, the ones from Atlanta.
The real Braves, right, not the Milwaukee Braves. All right,
that's
so
right.
The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees with Cortez on the mound, Boston with Tanner Houck on the mound, and these are two teams definitely headed in opposite directions. The Yankees have lost 13 of their last 17, and over those 17 games, their pitching has been absolutely brutal. They're allowing 6.9 runs per game during this 4-13 stretch, and they've been outscored during that time by an average of 1.8 runs per game. Boston, on the other hand, 4-0 in their last 4, outscoring opponents by 3.5 runs per game, albeit their last 3 games were against Miami. But they're also 17-8 over the last 25. So this is a team that's trending upwards. Tanner Houck, I really like this guy. I think he's very underrated. He is coming off his worst start of the season at home against San Diego, but he's still 6-1 in his last 17 starts, and he's really been good on the road this year. In 7 away starts, a 1.85 ERA and 0.89 WHIP, averaging 6.3 innings pitched per start, and only allowing 1 home run in 43 2/3 innings pitched on the road. And folks, that's something you can't ignore, especially when you're facing a team like the Yankees, who relies so much on their ability to hit home runs for offensive production. He's got a 2.06 career ERA against the Yankees as well, and 43 2/3 innings pitched as well. Identical numbers in terms of innings pitched on the road this year and innings pitched career against the Yankees. And he's only allowed 2 home runs in those 43 2/3 innings pitched against the Yankees this year. Nestor Cortez deserved a little bit of a better fate at times over his last 5 starts, in which the Yankees have gone 1-4. But here's the thing. At some point, this is beyond coincidental. Whether the Yankees bullpen has blown games or they haven't given them a lot of run production, they're 47-24 this year, meaning the Yankees, without Nestor Cortez. With him on the mound as a starter, they're only 7-11. And I mentioned the Yankees pitching has been brutal of late. Their bullpen, which was one of the best in baseball throughout the beginning of the year up until about 3 weeks ago, has really faltered dramatically. And they're now number 13th in Major League Baseball in ERA at 3.65, which is something noteworthy because they were around the low 2s early for the first few months of the year, and at the top or near the top throughout that early portion of the season. And the Red Sox bullpen, you know what? I was surprised to see they're number 6 in Major League Baseball when it comes to team ERA and number 9 in team WHIP when it comes to their bullpen. So I'm going to take the Red Sox here, plus 120 at the New York Yankees. And again, this is a number you have to scratch your head because the Yankees about a month ago with this starting pitching matchup, they probably be around 160, 170 favorite. They're only 140 here, and I think that even is too high. But, Sean, I'm interested to hear your take because you've been down on the Yankees for a few weeks now, and you definitely hit the nail on the head when you assessed them a few weeks back.
This is what exactly was going to happen with him. Why are we shocked here? First of all, Aaron Boone's got to go. He should have went a couple years ago. He's terrible. The bullpen. Of course the bullpen's going to collapse because you overworked it in April and May when you don't have to do stuff like that. But that's what bad managers do. We could talk about the lineup being a two-man lineup, well, maybe 2.5, because Stanton had a big comeback year before he got hurt. But are we shocked that he got hurt? No. Are you going to be shocked if Judge goes down in August with something? I mean, he's had two seasons where he's played full seasons. It's not a good team. They're big. At least you got Aaron Savelli off of a major league roster. The Yanks should have went after Aaron Savelli. You picked up J.D. Davis, who was DFA'd by the A's. That's who they're going to. The Yankee team, who paid Judge $40 million a year, $312 million payroll, are in a basket at the back of the supermarket looking at canned tuna fish and peas in a can that are somebody threw on the ground and have dents in them to get cheap. That's who they're going. They're going to bring in Josh Bell. Really? Who are they getting? Their big pickup's going to be Josh Bell and some relief pitcher from the Marlins for some guy you never heard of in high A base. It's sad. It is, man, from the team. And I grew up on bad teams. Like Stump Merrill's 90 Yankees are bad. All right, I had a reprieve of a great decade from 95 to 2005, a bunch of World Series wins. And it was in those teams won with role kind of guys. You could say Jeter and Bernie were whole, but still, Charlie Hayes, you had Chili Davis, Wade Boggs, even these are all guys at the end of their careers who were just kind of pros. Brocious. I mean, then what happened? Oh, we got to spend money, and you bring in a bunch of guys and won nothing. You won nothing until you got lucky with CC and A-Rod running the show there. Coaches got to go. It's time for Cashman to move on. You either embrace your youngsters or you just I don't know what they're I mean, plenty of teams otherwise do other things and survive, and you can't. I don't know. It's frustrating. I mean, here we go. I could rant all day on the Yankees. You know that, Ross. I mean, I've been on them for 2 months. You see the fan. You're asking me about the Yankees. You should let Jesse go first because I talk an hour about the Yankees. That my feelings on them.
Well, you make a good point with running down your bullpen early on. And me and Chip had some off-air discussions at length and used to really scratch our heads because Boone had a habit early on of taking guys out that were having good starts after 70 or 80 pitches. Yeah. You know, why do that?
We're going to go to the books here. This is what it tells me.
I mean, it's almost like it's like premeditated murder. It didn't happen because you got mad in the last 2 minutes. You just before the game even started, I'm not letting this guy go beyond the 5th or 6th inning because I got my bullpen plan already set up, and now it's backfiring. Because
the analytics guys, these numbers guys, the stat nerds come in here and think it's like a fantasy baseball. Like, oh, you got to do this. It does not. I mean,
starting pitchers go every 5th day. Relievers, these guys are going 3 out of 4 days if they're available. You know what I mean? So, I get the theory that you're saying, well, we want to keep his pitch count around 70, 80 because it's a long year. But, the flip side of that is what Sean just alluded to. Yeah. And now you're bringing your bullpen in earlier than you need to. Now you sustain a couple bullpen injuries, and you have to fill in with guys that weren't the quality of what you lost. And now your bullpen is worn down and nowhere near the quality. And that's where they're at right now. Jesse, anyway, before we go on for the rest of
I'm going to go on because instead of just bringing up a 4A guy out of the minors for a spot start, right? Teams used to do that. Remember, they call him up. They want to push starter back a day, give him an extra day rest. That's what they used to do. They'd have a tired arm guy. All right, we'll bring up some guy from the money. Like, oh, who's this kind of youngster? He'd come out. Maybe he had a good outing. I know for a fact watching the Yankees in the 90s when the Blue Jays or whoever would bring up some guy out of the minor league for a spot to push everybody, Jose Guzman and all these guys, Scott Erickson back a day, whoever's pitching for whatever team.
Who's the guy who went to even if you went to a 6-man rotation for a period of time? Who was somebody did? Joe Madden, maybe? I can't remember.
Tampa Bay did the 6-man for a bit, I think.
Yeah, when Joe Madden was there, and it worked. I mean, it works in terms of saving your bullpen. I mean, even if you're 6th starter, you premeditate that he's only going to go 4 or 5 innings if we can get that out of him.
I think the Yanks did that a couple times when they had so many starters. Like everybody was healthy at one point. It was like Gooden, Wells, Clemens, Pettit, Cohn. You had 6 guys like El Duque, whoever. You had it, but that's a nice problem. That's why I always say go after any starting pitcher you could get because it'll work itself out. Somebody's going to get hurt. Someone's going to be terrible. It just works itself out.
Well, a lot of these guys now decide when that occurs, they're going to go bullpen by committee. And even some teams are doing that because they don't feel comfortable with who they had as a 5th starter, and that guy has failed miserably.
Well, look at the Giants. The Giants do bullpen games 2 out of the 5 stars. And they want to expand. We need more baseball teams. You have a team in San Francisco that can't put out 5 starting pitchers.
Yeah. Then it's really, I mean, the one thing that happens when you start adding teams, yes, it opens up a lot more jobs. But at the end of the day, the thing that suffers in terms of quality the most is pitching because it becomes very diluted. So anyway, Jesse, any thoughts on?
Sean deserves all the credit for successfully predicting the Yankees would fall off. That being said, as handicappers, we should be extremely happy about this because, as I said, give Sean all the credit, but it was very predictable. I mean, this is pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw in 2022, although it's happened a little earlier this time around. And I was shocked when it didn't happen sooner back then. I had a bet with a colleague of ours. I had the Blue Jays. He had the Yankees. We bet a fancy steak dinner. I thought I liked my bet. And, the Yankees broke the record for the best first half in history or something like that. Yeah. And they were equally as good as they were in the first half. They were that bad in the second half. And, it's just basically it's deja vu all over again. And if we see the Yankees jump out to a big start next year, we know what to do at this time of year.
It's great betting steak dinners with Jesse is it's very hard to collect.
It's not that hard. Mikey's brother came and collected the other day, right, Sean?
Yeah, he flew out. He flew out from Buffalo.
Who's that?
From Rochester. I had guests from Rochester come here to collect a steak dinner.
Is that right? That's my hometown.
Yeah. I know.
One of the guys in another
Buffalo or Rochester, Jesse. I mean,
Rochester. Yeah, they're from Rochester.
Yeah. Okay, because that's we're 70 miles apart. Yeah. So wow, isn't that something? Somebody who follows you, or is that somebody you establish a relationship through your?
One of the guys he's a guy on Pub Sports that Sean and I have been on shows with.
What's his name?
Mike POD is the guy that wears all the Flyers stuff, and he's very loud, and he gets really hammered on the shows. He drinks too much on the show. I mean, am I wrong? Am I speaking untruths, Sean?
Yeah.
No, well, that's. I mean, listen, if you're an Eagle fan and you're watching that nonsense, you're gonna pull a drink out in the second quarter. Like, what's happening here? We started 7-1.
The funny thing is, it wasn't this guy Mike that came. It was his brother. And when he arrived, I had no idea that it was his brother. And the first thing I said to him is, if I knew you were his brother, I wouldn't have given you my address.
Did you take him for a haircut?
I did not. Well, I think Mike is bald, and his brother's got a similar haircut to me.
For a haircut, Jesse.
He's all right. Jeff seems like a good guy.
Yeah, okay, that kind of, yeah.
So
Jeff seems all right. I don't. You tell him he was all right. Down to earth.
Well, that's what I mean. Jeff seems like he's not even Mike's brother. He's too mellow to be Mike's brother.
As Eddie said in Eddie and the Cruisers when they were practicing and all over the place, let's bring it in, boys.
Dark Side? Eddie and the Cruisers?
Yeah, Eddie and the Cruisers. Actually, that was the second film he did that. But in any event, before we drive people.
Was that Tom Berenger?
Yes. Yeah. He really didn't do much after that. That was his pinnacle.
Tom Berenger? Oh, come on. Platoon or Major League was his
No,
pinnacle?
It was Michael Pare.
Oh, Michael
Berenger
Pare
was in that movie.
All right.
But he wasn't a lead role. Michael Pare, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, Sean, what do you got going on that you could share with the folks?
3-pack is up on the site here, so you can go get that 3-day package. You get today's 3 winners for you, and it's baseball time, so you don't have a bunch of baseball going on here. So It's all baseball until we get to that August, and then Hall of Fame game, nice little under in game 1. You'll get it. We'll start doing some football soon enough. I mean, it's right around it's a month away. Texans, Bears.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for football. I don't know about the Hall of Fame game, but in any event, Jesse, what do you got going on?
You want football? I got football. I got football tonight. I got a top play in the CFL, a game that I really love, and I recommend it to anybody. What am I? I'm 73% with CFL dating back to last September, 60% against the spread the last decade. I know there's going to be people that hear that and say, "Oh, I could be better than that," but I'd like to see you try.
Yeah, no, 60% over the last decade is good. Even if you're sprinkling in your 190s and 180 money line favorites like you like to do, that's still good. In any event, 140s are short favorites for Jesse. Anyway, yeah, I mean, my Major League Baseball, like I said, 15-11 last since June 21st, about an $800 profit. Not bad, but I could be better. And I'm looking at my other site that I could really chart through, get into a deep dive in terms of streaks. For whatever reason, my weekday picks, especially in Major League Baseball, have been very good. I don't know what I can attribute that to, but it's worth noting, especially my weekday totals, 118 and 80, over close to 60%, and over $10,000 in profit since July 18th of last year. And also since August 4th of last year, my weekday picks are all picks, sides, totals, whatever, money lines, plus $8,000. So doing very well. By the way, folks, keep an eye on my 5-unit top plays. Hit another one this week. Since February 4th of this year, 22-9 with those plays, 79%. So, Jesse, there's a like button right underneath. What do you want them to do with that?
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort that you put in, we put in, to bringing you a quality podcast 5 times a week on this channel and to making you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. Monday, we will be back. Sean will be hosting with Chip Chirimbus and Doug Upstone. For Ross, Benjamin, Jesse Schule, and Sean Higgs, take care and God bless, folks.